So thank you for clicking on this video. So that means I got your attention in the first video. So this is a piece of, the first piece of the puzzle that we are adopting at our school. The first piece of the puzzle, if you want to change the nature of your education system, you want to change the nature of your school, you have to first educate your staff and your kids, on some level, the students, about the nature of trauma. So I'm going to go through a few things here that most people don't know about trauma. Number one, trauma is not the thought in your head. People think it is, and so they start to go to what's the worst thing that ever happened to me when I was a kid, or they think medical trauma. But the truth is, trauma is actually what's called non-declarative memory. It's a taste, a touch, a feeling, a sensation, and it's stored in your body and your brain in a much different way than you think. The second thing is that you need to know what developmental trauma is. And developmental trauma is essentially chronic stress over the developing lifespan of a human being. And the research shows that it has the same negative effect on the brain as an acute episode of trauma. To exemplify this, let's imagine you have a child, one of your students, that goes home every day to a domestically violent home. They're living in that home, the parents are closing the door, they're fighting in the other room. But the child stays in the other room and closes their door and lives in that chronic state of developmental stress, that chronic state of hyperarousal. The developmental trauma piece is just as negatively impactful to the brain as if the parents actually got up and actually went in the room and beat the child. And when people understand this, when they understand what developmental trauma is, and then you ask a teacher, go ask any of your staff right now, go ask them if they feel like they're trying to teach in a more stressful environment. Go ask them if they are trying to achieve certain outcomes academically while they themselves are struggling with developmental trauma, not just in their school life, not just in their school relationships, not just in the types of students they try to teach, but also in their personal lives. The truth is, we are living in a traumatized culture. You ask anyone around you if they are living in a more stressful dynamic. I don't have my phone on me right now, but if I did, I'd pull it out and I say that phone is the single greatest source of violent and sexualized content ever known to humankind. And our children have that in the palm of their hands. They were never meant to have that information. They were never meant to know about the things that are happening 4,000 miles away in real time. The truth is, we are living in a traumatized culture. The first step, you want to change your educational institution, you want to change things for the better, we need to bring awareness to every single educator, every single legislator, every single person on earth, and hopefully they aren't bought by the corporations to downplay the information, because the truth is, yes, violent video games do impact children's brains, no matter what you think. Increased sexualized content does the exact same thing. It's a process called systematic desensitization. So at our school, what we're doing is we are bringing this level of awareness, this level of education to our staff. We are creating an army of teachers who are aware in themselves, who are aware for their students, who can understand and embrace kids that are going through this and be able to reach in and lean in and not be in their own process of defense so that they aren't able to help.